to Limitless Property Podcast. Today we've got Chris Raymond in the studio. Chris, how you going?
Good, Billy. Nice to finally meet. And I know we've communicated a little bit on social media and had a few calls, but I appreciate the invite today. And yeah, look forward to sharing some information and gold nuggets with our audience out there. So appreciate it.
No worries, mate. And Chris he's a broker, high-performing broker. Last year, you wrote 300 million through your own name. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So,
and as a business?
I'm only 25. I've aged a little bit, but yeah. So last 2 financial years, 300 million. I think the year before that I did about 320 million. And then as a business, we just cracked $500 million. So we did about $507 million worth of loans, and pretty similar to your business, mate. Majority of our clients are investors, so they're low loan sizes. So probably average loan size for us is just a tick over 500 grand. So it's a machine, which we'll talk about a little bit more. But it's been a good couple of years, and obviously the landscape's changed a little bit, and we'll talk through that today. Yeah,
a lot of changes going on, mate. 500 mil as a business is pretty staggering. The average broker, you'll know this stat, but it writes about 12 to 15 mil a year.
Correct.
I don't know what they're doing, but I don't know what the average brokerage writes, but if it was a brokerage of a couple of brokers, it's probably 30, 40 mil.
Yes.
And you're hitting 500.
Yeah. I guess our ecosystem and training methods is, we're training our guys to be $100 million brokers. So, we've had a few examples. Will's just come in. He's a full-time broker. He used to work as my senior credit analyst. He just wrote 57 million in his first year. Joel Cross, similar position. He's about 3 or 4 years into his broking career. He actually settled 140 million last year. So, we purposely hold our guys back. We don't want them to be average brokers. We want them to be sort of, top 100 brokers in the industry. And, mate, that's the results.
It's good. And off the back of that, business success, you're making money, and you're buying property. So how many properties we got?
We've got 14 properties at the moment. It's going to go down to 13, so I can't lie to the audience. I mentioned to you just before we started the podcast, 13 of my properties with my wife, of course, are really high-performing properties, and then I bought a off-the-plan unit in Canberra in 2012. I got influenced when I was a young man.
Property spruiker,
look brilliant in the brochure. Depreciation,
Rental guarantee,
all that kind of stuff.
So, trifecta.
Tenanted from day one. And just for the audience out there, I bought that for 420,000. Just exchanged for 443,000. So 14 years, 23 grand capital growth, not factoring in expenses. I mean, the yield was pretty good, so I held it. But
so it's a solid 20 grand.
It was a solid 20 grand. But I mean, opportunity cost. I look at it. Some people would be kicking stones, but it's. I look at my investment portfolio as a business, and there's more wins than losses, but you sort of got to learn from your mistakes and. I try not to think too much about what that sort of 400 odd grand could have done with the right market and the right team around me. So so that's where we're sitting at the moment, mate. Value circa around 16 million. Debt levels about 8.5 million at the moment. So decent amount of equity, a few years older than yourself, mate. So, I obviously look up to people like you that's doing it at such a young age, but I've had a little bit of fun, in between as well. So it was sacrifice. Sort of lived life, lived in London for a few years, came back, sacrificed my career, left a big four corporate position paying, 6 figures.
So that's where I wanted to start as well, was today. So we've got 14 properties, 16 mil val, doing well, brokerage writing $500 million a year in the top. What is that? Top what in Australia?
Brokerages. Well, we're top 25 brokerages. 25. And
as a broker, do you know what yours would be?
Last year, I think it was 8 or 9 out of 22,000 brokers in the industry. So,
So top 10 broker, top 25 brokerage, 14 properties, 500 million in lending a year. This obviously is where it is today. But how did you get into starting this? So you left school And what was the first job, and how did you get into banking, finance, all that? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. So I grew up in Western Sydney, so Penrith, which it's changed a lot over the years.
Yep.
But, Penrith traditionally sort of blue collar. And I must admit, all my mates became tradies at a young age. But my dad he always had that sort of entrepreneurship. He owned businesses in the past. So I always wanted to work in a business in some capacity, and sort of finance and, maths was sort of my better subject at school, and left school, didn't go to uni, and was a little bit lost, but applied for a trainee position at ING Bank in funds management. You talk about sliding doors moments, mate.
Funds management.
Yeah. So manage funds and shares and that kind
ETFs.
of stuff. So I thought, beautiful, ETFs and that kind of cool stuff as well. So I thought, beauty, get my foot in the door. This is my banking career. And they said, sorry, Chris, you're not qualified enough for that position. However, we've just got a new division in our mortgage department that's just opened up.
Wow.
We think you could be good at that. So long story short, mate, started that, back office, learned the ropes, settlements, documents, moved to home side, which is a division of NAB Broker back in the day for the older people listening today. And, mate, I learnt my craft. I progressed to being a credit analyst, took off overseas for London for a couple of years.
How long was from initial entry to credit analyst? What was the time frame there?
I would say it would have been about 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Because that's an important one, because a lot of brokers come into the industry, they want to be a broker in the first year.
Yeah.
But that is, I think, and that's what I did, because I didn't have a choice, doing it by myself, but it slows you down. If you can be a credit analyst and learn your craft and figure out what you're doing first, you'll shoot ahead once you're a broker.
I mean, we'll talk about the evolution and I guess what I did in my first year as well, which I think I mentioned on a few other podcasts in the past. But having that base, knowing settlements, knowing how the process works, knowing how to read tax returns and pay slips immediately. And then, from there I went overseas a couple of years, worked for a big broking company in the UK, just as an assistant. So, their model over there is a little bit different. And then when I came back, got a junior BDM role. It's a business development role for a Big Four.
How old were you roughly at this point?
Would have been in my late 20s.
Yep.
And then did that for 4 years. That sort of got me, I learned sales skills in that position, which, our role is obviously they're like, it's interesting how you define our role. So obviously, we're here to assist clients, achieve their financial dreams, and structure their finance. But at the end of the day, it's sales. You're competing against other brokers, and you're selling your service, your expertise, and things like that. So, mate, that was the grounding. And then about 2016, went out and joined someone for like 6 months, and then set up Unconditional Finance in sort of 2017. So we're getting close to 10 years.
Almost 10 years old. Good. Yes. And when you started Unconditional Finance, obviously I'm assuming it was probably just you?
It was me, and I actually hired a VA.
Yep.
So
in the Philippines or something like that? Yep.
Yeah. So I spoke about this at a training session that I spoke at the other day, mate. Like, I think we were early adapters in the VA space. In that sort of little role that I did for 6 months at another company, they were implementing virtual assistants overseas. So I thought, beautiful. I don't want to learn Apply Online. I already knew Apply Online from my sort of banking days, but I want somebody that can order valuations and, that low-hanging fruit. So,
was it still Apply Online back then like it is today, or something similar?
Still Apply Online.
Yeah. Wow. Not much has changed, yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, it was still Apply Online. So, so I had that. It was me and her. So I would see client. Firstly, I went out there and I hustled to start with. I guess my BDM background, I think a lot of new to entry brokers. I know social media is sort of you're the king of it. I'm speaking to the absolute king in our industry of social media, but I'm still very much of a B2B, a business to business relationship. And at the time, LinkedIn used to be really good for that. I think Instagram matches that and is better than that at the moment. And, I would send on a Sunday night I first started, I'd send out 50 messages. Hey, Bill, Chris, Unconditional Finance.
To brokers, real estate agents.
To real estate agents, to accountants, to a couple of property people. I said I'd been a broker for 2 years, but I guess I could back up that experience. Yep. Got a foot in the door, had a coffee, and then I got a good they used to sell house and land packages, which I guess that's not our flavour at the moment, but I wrote 67 million in my first year.
In your first year?
In my first year.
Wow.
So,
that's the difference, though, between being new to industry as a broker, having to figure it all out, and starting your business when you've done that, what was it, 3, 4, 5 years worth of credit analyst, learning settlements, learning the back end, and then you can hit the ground running.
Correct, yeah. But I also attended open homes.
Yeah.
How many brokers do that? I know it's old school. Open home, let the, obviously, prospective buyers see the agent, and as it starts to die down, Bill, Chris Raymond, Unconditional Finance,
So you'd go to the agent at the open home, not the actual people?
No, I'd go to the agent.
Yep.
The agent at the open home, just to try and get a foot in the door. And, my philosophy is, you send out 100 messages. It literally takes you half an hour. Sit in your board shorts, Sunday night on your couch, or set yourself a goal, maybe 10 messages every week or every Sunday, whatever the day may be. And out of that 10, you're likely to get 1 or 2 people that say, hey, Bill, let's catch up for a Zoom. Let's catch up for a coffee. It's a numbers game. You send out 100, you get sort of, 20 responses, you get 10 coffee meetings. You then have to add value and demonstrate how you don't just ask for business. You've got to demonstrate what your value is to their potential clients, and, is there a cross referral opportunity. But, from that I got 1 or 2 relationships and away she went.
And from there, you've wrote 60, 70 mil in your first year. Then 8 years later, you're doing 500. So that's still very big growth from 60, 70 first year to 500 mil in, 8 years later.
Correct.
So it was you, a VA, and then what happened after that?
Yeah, so then we hired probably about a year later, I actually had one of my clients. Clients can be very good. Mm-hmm. I think, did you go down that path, or you got friends or something that work for you? But
no,
clients can be very good employees.
Yeah. I've got friends. I've got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Which some people say don't do, but I've picked friends that are. I haven't got friends to work for me because they're friends. I've hired friends because I've seen them work very hard for 10, 12 years, something like that. And I know their work ethic, I know their character, their personality, I know they've never ripped anyone off or that sort of thing. Yep. So that's why I go, right, this guy's a fit over a random. But I'm not just bringing on friends because then, because they're your friend. That's how people
I've got a rule, don't hire my friends. But I'm going to put the work ethic. But from there, mate, I actually got an old, so 2 things. So I actually got Nicole in our settlements team. So she used to work with me at NAB. And I said, we're starting to get busier now, bit of money in the bank. Because I used to do everything. I'd do the interview.
Yep.
I'd, what do you actually want, Bill? Often you had to drive to someone's house. Like, it was full old school.
Different. Yeah.
Like dinosaur years 9 years ago, mate. So you don't know how easy you got it, new brokers today. But, and then I'd work out serviceability. There was none of this quickly BS that we've got at the moment. It was like a CBA CAD or a Pepper calc.
Different calcs for every lender.
Yeah, but it taught you lending again. I would do the cover sheet. I'd send it to my VA. The deal would get approved, and then I'd do the doc sign up, and then I'd basically negotiate the settlement with the conveyancer as well. So literally end to end that I actually did. But next steps, mate, just circling back, we hired Nicole, settlements. I said there's enough business here just for settlements.
So the third person you hired was in settlements?
Settlements, yeah.
Okay. So you thought that was more important than another processor or something like that because you could just hand off the rest of the job from unconditional approval?
Correct. Yeah. And then from there, we sort of did a couple of hires. We hired VAs are brilliant. Like, if you're not through an agency, but if you go direct, like, we've got husbands, wives, cousins, sisters. Like, anytime we have a position coming up, this is what we're thinking. They throw 3 or 4 resumes at us, mate, and very hard workers as well. So then I think we hired somebody in admin to do valuations. To start to take a little bit more load off me. And then we had Joel, who was a client at the time. He wanted to be a broker. And I said, why don't you come in and sort of be a trainee, learn settlements as well. So just float off Nicole. I'm big on the fundamentals, like in banking. Mm-hmm. You need to learn the back office.
Yep.
I think the biggest and most successful brokers are ones that actually go and do settlements. Do, credit analyst work and then become brokers. I take my hats off, someone that just slips straight into the broking role.
It's not recommended.
You need a good mentor, but to me, if you can sit in front of a customer or referral partner and say, unconditional, like, what's the process now? And if you're sort of going, ahhing, I'm not quite sure.
Yep.
if you've got, I guess, authority around, all right, this is the process, this is what this bank does, you've won them over already. So, so it's sort of just built from there, and, we slowly just, 60 million, 90 million, 150, 180. Like it's just, gardening. It's like your property portfolio, mate.
Yeah, just continually evolving.
Just continually evolving. It compounds.
Yeah.
You do a good job with your clients, your referral partners, you get repeat business. And then
trail income starts to build up too.
Trail income starts to build up. That allows you to hire more resources. I guess when I started the business, I didn't go out and set a goal of settling $500 million. Like, we've kept it boutique on purpose. We don't want to write. At this stage, we don't want to double the headcount and write $1 billion or $1.5 billion as well. But it's just sort of over time, it's compounded just with those methods. And there's a few other things. About year 4, year 5, we really drilled down a little bit more around our processes and stuff like that. So.
And now, how many brokers is in the business?
We've got. I'm just trying to count. So we've got 4.
Yep.
So what I write is what Chris Raymond writes. None of these fake figures.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you've got to have a process. I interview every client, but we've got a VA that does valuations. We've got a VA that does the initial quickly. So next morning, I've done 4 interviews, and I've got all the equity positions. So I've got the rough quickly guides on.
And then how are you presenting that to the client? A loom or an email call?
Normally an email for us. Mm-hmm. So this is it's quite an interesting point there, mate, because a lot of brokers, well-respected brokers that I respect in the industry, everyone's process is different. There isn't a map to what's a 300 mil broker do, because the guy down the road will do it differently. So we go off the client's information in that initial discovery call. I'm all about efficiency. Speed to market is my motto in the business at the moment.
So the client's information, as in what the client tells you on that initial call?
Unless they're self-employed.
Okay.
Or a little bit of doubt on the payslip. Yeah. So everything else, it's Mr. Client.
And do you record that inal call? Or do you write?
Yeah, notes? We do. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. So I guess now with all, we use Fixer and stuff, it records all the messaging and stuff like that. But I reckon, mate, if you get the tax returns or, all right, end of financial year's just finished, we just want your last pay slip. I reckon 98% of our deals, we don't have any issues.
Okay.
So the initial information that you've told me, based on that information, I can get you this. If we structure this, based on your longer term goals, if we did this valuation, we can get you this amount of equity out. A lot of brokers do it differently. They want the full portal complete. They want commitment, each to their own, but I'm speed to market. Because if you're going to ask for the portal first, you're going to take 3 or 4 days to get back to your referral partner and your client with the good news.
Sure.
I can get it back in 24 hours.
Yeah. So you do that initial call.
Yep.
VA puts quickly, works out borrowing capacity, all that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then the next day you come in, it's laid out there and quickly, you look at quickly. And then what are you doing? You're typing an email to the client saying this is what you can do. Correct.
Yeah. I guess newer brokers out there don't just. We've sort of lost the art of broking, respectfully. And again, that's why we get a lot of business, because it's not just, quickly says, the computer says. But, quickly say, I'll play around with things.
But on your initial call, you're already knowing with your experience, that's where the art of broking, what you say, comes in. Because you're already knowing based off this, and this is the lender that you're going to say, have a look at for the VA, or have a look at this policy, that sort of thing, I'm assuming. And then
correct,
you come back the next day and put it all together.
Correct. Yeah. So, and, valuations as well. So, most clients, 3 or 4 properties. So I want a CBA vow or Bankwest vow. I'm acquiring someone else, and just within 20 minutes, bang, it's in the client's folder. So again, speed to market, speed to information. Once we get quickly, then we come back and say, good news. We normally copy the buyer's agent or whoever the referral partner is in, and we give them the good news. Good news is if we structured this and did it this way, I can get you're lending up to $1 million. It doesn't have to be $1 million, but I am giving you your maximum position based on the advice that I am giving. And I guarantee you 9.5 out of 10 clients and referral partners go, that's more than what my current broker can give me. Again, you got to do it responsibly. Yeah. Just because I say, mate, you can borrow $1 million doesn't mean you have to borrow $1 million, but it gives them a good news story. The BA or your referral partner goes, shit, Bill down the road can only get $700,000. Chris is saying $1 million.
Yeah. And then off the back of that, they're pretty quick to get docs back, because they now see what they can do. They want to move, and they get the docs back, and then from there, docs are returned. Is that what happens, I'm assuming?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So portal out, documents uploaded. We've set up automations. Hey, Bill, your payslip hasn't been uploaded, all that kind of jazz. And then they're uploaded. And then I hand it on to our Australian credit analyst.
Yep.
So just circling back just quickly, mate. So about 5 years ago, we're doing good business. And then I got a business coach in and just said, there's a bit of a gap here to go from settlements to high performing broker. Mm-hmm. Something's missing here. And I know a lot of brokers have offshore credit analysts, which works well. But I guess, what is your why in your business? Like, what do you actually want to achieve? Some people run lean operations. They write less than me, probably make more profit. All their team's offshore. I want a business that I can actually step away from, and I've got a team of 4 or 5, 6 high-performing brokers writing circa $100 million. So we identified the gap that we need in Australian credit analyst, and we bring them in young.
Okay.
So they do a junior type position. They actually manage our back book.
Where do you find these people?
Seek.
Seek, yeah.
Yeah. Seek, yeah. Our biggest success, mate, is not the banker. Not the ex-broker or the current broker. It's new to industry. Mm. So it's all about the why. I think you can't train that. We can train the technical skills in broking around how to read tax returns and how to do read pay slips and, how to annualize income and stuff like that. But, I think you're born with that want. My hours are 5 o'clock, but I'm staying back to 5:30. And some of our biggest success stories, if I can get that word out, Navy, ex-Navy, ex-scaffolder, ex-air conditioning mechanic, and these guys are our high performers. So that's sort of what we look for. Bring them in, do the traineeship. So I normally tell them, often they've actually got their diplomas. But mate, it's a 3-year apprenticeship. Mm. So, you can be a broker down the road, but we're training you to be $100 million broker.
Yeah, and they'll come out in their first year as a broker and write 50 mil plus, as opposed to going out in their first year and writing 10, 15, 10, 20, whatever it is.
Correct. Yeah. And I guess because we've got that timeline now with people in the business, they can see there's a career path here. Chris isn't just BSing us. Promising the world, delivering very little. They can actually see guys that are actually doing that and writing those numbers from day one. So
cool.
So
it goes from I was going to talk more about the portfolio, which I will, but this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is good. So the credit analyst, Australian credit analyst, obviously gets all the docs, puts them together, structures the deal, and then I'm assuming sends it to the offshore processing team to run through AOL and lodge. Is that right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So the analyst will always, because it's always the broker's responsibility, they will always cross-check. This is what I'm proposing. So they already know. Like I'll say, refi equity release, pre-approval. Obviously we need a high val or, the casual income. And, I'll give them the brief. They come back, that looks good. So it's only 2 minutes. Yeah. And then they send it to our offshore team, to do all the apply line and all that stuff. We have automation set up in our CRM. So we click on it and it says, hey, Bill, just introducing you to Ivan as an example. Ivan works alongside Chris. Yeah. He'll be assisting Chris with, the application process throughout. Any questions, please come back to Ivan. Or Chris. Ideally, we're trying to. I'm still there. I'm monitoring everything, but when you're doing volume, you need that. I guess
you can't be replying to every email.
You can't be replying to every email, mate. But the VAs then prepare it and then send out the compliance documents, and then once it's back, they press submit and sort of go from there.
Yeah, perfect. And having that Australian contact, it's like me. I've got an Australian credit analyst, and it's offshore. We've got offshore too, and they're great. But having the Australian there, they can understand a fair bit of what we've got going on because they live in this country. I find with the offshore, it's harder for them to understand some things because they don't have as much context.
Yeah.
But the Australian credit analyst, you can kind of just tell them everything over the phone quickly.
Correct.
And then they can run with it.
Correct. Yeah, and it's a good learning ground as well because we have an office, so we're in the office 2 or 3 days a week. So they're learning. They're hearing from Chris Raymond and Joel and Will and that are doing these big numbers. So they're actually learning on the job as well. And the other advantage of having credit analysts, when you do eventually push them up to being a broker, the clients know them.
Yes. They trust them already.
They trust them. Yeah. So Will is now doing a lot of our existing clients.
Because he worked on the clients with you.
Yeah, all that, and like we want the relationship. We've got so many of our clients that come back to our credit analysts.
Yeah,
I don't even see like we're thinking of going again. I mean, that's the ideal outcome. It's got to come back to me, but because they've got that relationship, because they've learned, they've been on the job, they've obviously been dealing with the client initially. That allows the client, or it gives the client more confidence. When these guys do actually push up to being brokers. So
I think there's a lot of brokers that shouldn't be brokers yet; they should be credit analysts.
Well, mate, quickly, story. So we had a guy, SFG broker, I won't name him, he's working with us. Persistent. I love persistence.
Yeah.
Kept ringing Steph, my ops manager. I want a job with you guys, And then Steph said, this guy keeps ringing us.
Yeah. Give him a call.
Well, that's a call. I love that stuff, mate. I love when you do an interview with a prospective employee and, they call you back and say, hey, Bill, just following up on our conversation from Friday, that's sold.
Half the people that apply for jobs these days, you call them, they don't answer, and when you call them back, hello? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want a job, man.
I had a few where they, in the interview, within 5 minutes, can I work from home 3 days a week? Go on, see you later. Yeah. But, mate, long story short, he was only doing about 10 to 15 mil a year. I said, mate, again, if you want to work with us, high volume office, I need you to step back in a position, step back in title, and be a credit analyst with us for a year. That's big. That's an ego thing for a broker that's out there writing deals to come into a business and then go back. Mate, he's been with us about 7 weeks. He's like, shit, like the amount I'm learning with you guys, investment loans, as he said, they're not vanilla deals.
Trusts, companies, SMSFs, shortly.
Doing this, third tiers, second tiers, isolate this, do that, do this. But yeah, he's just like, my eyes are like open. And he's like, I'm so thankful for giving me an opportunity. But this guy once he's ready in a year or so, he's learnt the craft. Mate, he'll be 50 mil plus from day one. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just sort of circling back, mate. Yeah, it's a good training ground.
And your role in the business now, obviously we chatted a few weeks ago and you were saying that you've just wrote 300 mil again, but now you want to pull back, right, 100 mil or so this year and be more of what's your role going to be in the business then?
Coaching, it's teaching. I've been working on this for probably the last 1 to 2 years because, 300 million for us, average loan size 500 grand, like 600 loans. That's just
ridiculous.
Me. That's a lot of deals. I can't just say, here's 600 clients, guys, good luck. You need to build the systems, the processes. You've got to get their skill level up that, even Will, he's been with me for 3-4 years. He can't write 100 mil in year one, but he's done 57 mil.
Yeah.
And he's already got the volume. He's got 40 mil in his pipeline. He will be that 100 mil broker this year. So, and I've got 2 young boys as well. So I've got a 6 and a 4-year-old. One of them has a disability, which I've spoken about a little bit in the past. Yeah, you've got to be good with your time. And it's just I've got to the stage where the passion I love the business. I absolutely love the industry. I love the people in it.
That's surprising from someone writing 600 loans through their own name in a year.
Yeah.
Usually it'd be,
mate, I'm
going insane.
Mate, honestly, it looks, I think I used the analogy the other day, it's like the swan on the lake. It looks very calm up front. There's a lot of shit that goes on.
Yeah.
And you got to be built a little bit different to do those type of numbers. I've probably lost the passion a little bit for actual broking.
Yes.
And people would jump at $100 million a year, but for us, it's a 33%, 66% reduction if I'm giving away at least of my business, because we've got Joel that sort of does his own stuff and a couple of other little brokers that have their own business, but giving away that percentage allows me to do a little bit more work-life balance. Drop off one of the boys, just did therapy this morning. And I want to coach these guys because I've got a lot of knowledge and we share it internally, but I haven't actually sat down and, mapped out my story around my properties and sort of guided the guys there. So a lot of that.
I feel like if you scale back, you said you don't want to go and write $1 billion a year or whatever it is, but if you scale back from writing 300 to 100 and then less and eventually maybe even basically nothing through your name, you're going to be able to teach multiple more people with that extra time and the business is going to grow just organically from that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a push. It's just going to happen because it's building efficiencies.
Yeah. And mate, coming for you and social media, no, not at all. But we like a little bit of that.
That's good.
4 or 5 podcasts. But the biggest change in our industry, just quickly, like from when I started, is the sharing of information. Like, I mean, you and I, we didn't even know each other. I think I saw you posting. I think I said something, mate. Congrats on your success. You're 29. You are crushing it. Don't forget or remember to sort of focus on your back book as well once you sort of trial and stuff and your client base gets big enough. And, in the past that used to be, you're a competitor, I'm a competitor. Same with SFG, some of the top guys there. But, mate, we go into each other's boardrooms and we pull apart each other's businesses.
I don't see any competition, very few. I've never met a broker that, I've asked them something and they haven't wanted to tell me because they're competitive.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, real estate agents are a bit different. They're all at each other's throat and that sort of thing. Even buyer's agent, which we're involved with too, they go at each other and stuff too.
Dog-eat-dog world. But I think in our industry now it's got a lot more professional, rising tide lifts all boats and all that stuff. So, just sharing information around the industry and, mate, eventually it's hard because I've been in 5th gear. Like I was in 5th gear when I was a major. I was one of their top, either 1 or 2 nationally BDM. So, and then the broking career for at least the last 9 years. So probably the last 14, 15 years I've
been redlining.
But so it's going to be a little bit different to just adjust gears down a little bit. But, I'm sort of in my early 40s and, I've got a decent portfolio and we're earning good income and I've got a team now where I want to help their families, mate. That's the driver. I want them to share their successes with their families and create similar to what I've done. And, where that's sort of the evolution of where the business is heading. And then probably another layer to that is probably 1 or 2 of my key people I'm looking to offer shares in the business as well, which I guess that's another evolution of, how do I lock down my key people?
Yeah.
Then probably look to implement some sort of employee share plan or something like that sort of early next year as well. And then, if we've got 4 or 5 of us that are as passionate about unconditional finance as me, and, I can go on more holidays with the kids and give more to the industry and like that's business, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
So,
and from the business and you moving into this, quieter period, what's the, I'd say quieter. Your focus, like you said, you're going to turn that to stuff like social media and that sort of thing. So so far, this is interesting to me because so far, I've said this to you, 90% of our leads are from social media, from my socials, Instagram. And I don't have any referral partners. And I've had referral partners or accountants and stuff like that approach us and say, hey, can we refer you deals? And I've said, unfortunately, no, because I don't want to take on more clients and not be able to service them.
Yep.
But it's interesting to me when people have built the business the other way around, which is most people. But now you're going to try and go into the social side of it to try and learn that. So what's the plan there?
My why for social is probably different to your why.
Yeah.
Because social media for me is not a lead generation tool.
Okay.
It's a, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's just education and social proof. Our business. Because the first thing a client will do or potential referral partner, Chris Raymond, Unconditional Finance, we've got 420 Google reviews. So we do post content, not to your degree, and not to your followings. But I guess my driver for social media is just to educate more, which will obviously naturally start to get more followers. But I'm still big on B2B. Like, I mentioned to you before, mate, we lost a pretty big referral relationship outside of our control, about 3 months ago. That was a $50 million referral partner. And you go, shit.
Yeah.
That's a hole in your business. Yeah, we're writing big numbers, but it's still 10%.
Sure.
And then you've got market conditions where they're saying 30% reduction in that. So your head starts to spin a little bit, but I must admit it's been refreshing because it's allowed me to connect with another couple of businesses again on Instagram.
So you've reached out to these
businesses.
Yep.
And I've got 2 relationships now. No payments, no referral agreements or anything like that, but they've already sent me 4 or 5 deals each.
Yeah.
So we're diversifying because we only ever had, to write 300 or 500 million, we only ever had 3 solid referral partners.
Yeah.
And then it was just existing clients. So yeah. So social media a little bit, but I'm still big on B2B. There's a big opportunity and I think it's underlooked. And if you've got businesses knocking on your door, I'll take them if you don't want them, mate. But,
I should be doing something about it. Yeah, it's an opportunity.
Like my $67 million first year, that was from 1 referral partner.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So don't underestimate the power of a golden unicorn.
Yeah.
In terms of being, get a good referral partner and what they can actually do to your business as well, and vice versa.
And most of the time, have you guys? I know brokers, it's very mixed. There's different relationships with referral partners, but a lot of the time, have you paid referral fees or vice versa, or is it always not?
No, when I started, yes.
Yep.
I think it was 25% up front. Never trail.
Okay.
Trail's mine. Trail's the business. Trail's the
a lot of brokers are giving trail and upfront, right?
You're selling your soul a little bit. I don't know. It depends on what's in that contract. What happens if you were to sell the business? Yep. Do they still keep that trail? If they do, because your upfront per se isn't necessarily the thing that's going to add the value to your saleable asset. It's more the trail,
yes,
or the business itself in terms of, if you get it valued on an EBITDA basis. So, never trail. When I started, it was 25% for my main referral partner. And then I had the one that I just lost, I was paying her only 20% upfront. And we don't pay any other referral partners. But I'm not against, I think new to industry brokers, you've got to get your foot in the door. 21,000 brokers.
If I was starting out, and I didn't have socials, I'd be open to it for sure, because it's like the lead cost. You're gonna run ads on socials if you want to get leads or whatever. You're gonna pay a lead cost. Your lead cost on a 20% referral fee could often be less than the lead cost that you got to pay to get them online.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is a lead from a referral partner or social media. Like I'm big on, they're not a client today, but they could be a client tomorrow. Get them into your ecosystem, getting them into your marketing CRM. And then, and I was all just big. If these guys can keep giving me leads, even if like 50 leads over 6 months and, 30 of them are a shit house.
But 20 good ones, yeah.
I've still got them in my database. And the amount of people that come back and say, hey, Chris, we spoke 2 years ago, that turns into business. So I think people look for the quick win. Oh, I can't do anything. Sorry, just go away. Social media, I know you got to have a certain criteria there, mate, but I'm still big. If you can get them into your ecosystem and your marketing system, that can turn into gold in the future, mate. So, so I'm all about that.
That's good. And what I want to chat about next is the actual property portfolio. So 13 properties, we'll say. When did you buy the first one and what was it?
Bought a unit in Adelaide. Would have been around 2010.
Yeah.
So
what suburb?
Adelaide.
The actual
Adelaide.
So
5,000.
Yeah.
So like unit market, you learnt that off the plan example we gave earlier. Like there's value there. Like this was a boutique unit block. I think there was 6 or 7 in the unit block.
Yeah.
I think I bought it for $220. I ended up selling it about 10 years later for about $480.
Units grow if they're the right deal.
It did its job, and then I sort of, as I said, floated around a little bit, and then I bought a dog box, i.e. off the plan property, high rise, shiny brochure, in about 2013. And then once I got back from London, that's where we bought a little bay
house,
a unit to live in.
Yep.
I just quickly, mate. I am still a big believer. The rent vesting strategy, it's fantastic to get your foot in the door. But with the right structure and the right team around you, I believe you can still, have your cake. You can still buy that owner-occupied home, but it's got to be done in the right sequence. Because what we see too often is they buy the white picket fence and the wife wants that, or the girlfriend, and mate, you've capped your borrowing capacity out because 99% of those loans are in your personal name. Yep. You can't do anything further. So we can map it out if we do it correctly.
And for you, roughly, what's the right sequence?
I would go pre-budget. We would have went.
It's changed.
We would have done 2 or 3 in their personal names that the borrowing capacity would allow. But now, like almost from day one, depending on the longer term goals, I would buy at least sort of 4, 5, 6 properties if we can as an investment.
Yeah.
And structure's super critical. Because I always say to our clients, your property could double in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but unless you've got the borrowing capacity to keep taking out equity and moving forward, you can become stuck really, really quickly. So I think structure more so than ever that's the key in all of this, as you would know, my friend.
And for me, when I think I said this to you a while ago as well, I first actually heard you on a podcast, mate, 6, 7 years ago. And so...
How old were you then? Were you at school? Or?
I was 22, something like that, 21. But you were talking about trust lending and company lending and all this stuff. And back then it wasn't talked about very much at all.
Correct.
And that was you and a couple other people talking about it on podcasts was what got me interested in it. But when I went to most brokers, they told me that it either couldn't be done the way that I was thinking or that I couldn't do it for whatever reason or the borrowing capacity advantages of it just weren't true, which... I butted my head up against the wall a lot because I was buying properties and I was listening to all these podcasts and I had 1 property, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
And from about property 3, I was trying to find a broker that would allow me to buy in a trust.
Yep.
And it was only, I must have heard you almost when I was tapped out and I actually spoke to one of your team, but I think it was when I couldn't borrow at the time anyway because of income.
You didn't speak to my mates.
I didn't. It was someone who was good.
We missed an opportunity there.
Then from when I became a broker, that was the time that I actually went to the banks and I was like, I want to buy, or my client wants to buy a property in a trust with a company as a trustee, and the banks are like, yes, that can be done. Or well, some of them. Some of the BDMs didn't really know what was going on, but obviously, as you know, you got to go to the right bank, BDM, all that sort of thing.
Correct.
So for you these days and in the past, are you buying companies for yourself, clients, stuff like that in trust?
Majority, I always say you still need to, we can't give advice or accountancy advice. Financial disclaimer. We give our opinion, absolutely. We can give our opinion. So, and I guess the other part to this is you need to find an accountant that's property savvy. Because, why the hell would your broker recommend this type of structure? So, and I always say it can, not will, it can have future lending benefits for you.
Yes. And it's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix, no. And again, you need to map out the right lender sequence. It is a little bit harder now because, Macquarie's and the like, a lot of people are sort of pulling out of that market. But absolutely, like we're almost going now since the budget changes, obviously you get advice, whether it's company or trust, from day one. There's no real benefit if you're not buying a new build property, which I'm not a big advocate for. You still get the right odd person that does meet that strategy, but it's almost from day one in terms of, depending on their overall borrowing capacity, we would look to do that, or maybe do one in their personal names. Yes, you can't negatively gear, but at least you can carry the losses forward until it's positively geared. So, but normally 1, if not maximum 2 in their personal, and then we implement a company or trust strategy. What we don't want to see is Bill buys 3 properties in his personal name, comes to Chris Raymond, and you're already capped out.
That's what I did, mate. I think it was 5 or 6,
You've got 2 options. You either sell and then reinvest, or we've even had clients switch ownership and pay full stamp duty on the market value, market cost. One of our customers, $80,000 across 2 properties just to free up $1 million plus borrowing capacity. So that's an expensive mistake. So again, you need to look at the longer term view and what your goals are and partner with someone.
And if if a broker says no, it doesn't mean no. Go to someone else. That's what I learned. Mate, try someone that knows.
I look at that as a challenge.
Sure.
And I look when a client or one of our customers says, I've got a broker, I respect, and I always say I respect them. It's not a dog eat dog world. But why don't I just have another look at your situation, just see, can we do things a little bit differently? Can we get you a little bit more money? And again, 98, 99% of times I can do something or improve their position. So,
and the reason that you're good at that is obviously you've got the experience, the background and stuff like that. But the brokers that I see that operate in this space are people like you, people like me that have the portfolio themselves, because we had to do these things to get the portfolio ourselves. So it's self-interest that helps you get into this side of things.
It does.
Then, you show clients the same way.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, you've got to be careful who you're dealing with or who you're working with, because, even in the buyer's agency space, I've done loans for the buyer's agents.
Yeah.
They don't have much. Not all of them.
Oh,
there's a lot that do.
Some of them.
These guys in one property at 95%, and you're giving advice on properties, and I've got 14 respectfully. Not patting my own back.
Mate, it's crazy.
So you need to understand, who are you working with? You want to follow people in life who have done it before you. And, when I speak to any client or any potential client, if it's a mum and dad trying to buy their first property, this is what I've done. Not a brag. I'm not a bragger. I don't go on social media. I rarely share my own figures in terms of my portfolio. But, what I want to try and do is map out the same strategy that I've done. I've come from a blue-collar background, and, there's other drivers that have grown my portfolio a lot quicker. But, we've got people that are on like $100,000 household income, and we've mapped out a 6-property portfolio. They've got 6 properties that have all gone up 50% of value. It can be done. So, find your right team, 100%.
It's not that the brokers, there's a lot of good brokers, and we're the same. We'll get clients come to us and they're tapped out and they say, I can't do anything. Broker said I can't do anything. And then we look at it and it's like, well, yes, you can. And whether it's refinancing, 3 or 4 properties, resetting them from 15-year loan terms to 30, going interest only, going to lenders that take the interest only payments, not the P&I over 25 years, all that stuff. But it's also one of the biggest factors, I think, is that the average broker doesn't see anyone buying 6, 8, 10, 20 properties. They might see someone like that once in their life if they're lucky. Correct. So they don't deal with it. So our clients are all, 3, our average client's about 3 properties. Yours is probably the same, if not more. So,
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have a belief. What is your why? What's your motivation? What's your value proposition to your clients? I believe in property investing. As a vehicle that can help you create wealth. I see it day to day.
You don't have 13 for no reason.
And I've lived, I've been overseas 4 times to Europe. I lived in London, so I've had a little bit of the cake. It's not like I've just fully, yes, I did to start and build the foundation. I did sacrifice a lot, but, I believe in property with the right team around you. You've got to still buy the right property, not the off-the-plan unit we discussed before. But I see it. I get some messages, a client a year and a half ago messaged me and said, Chris, you've changed our life. The property's gone up, obviously, with the buyer's agent. It's gone up 200,000.
Yeah.
We're earning 100,000. We can't even,
massive.
Our take-home is 70,000 bills. We're lucky to save $10,000 a year. Our family's wealth has grown by over 200,000. Thank you so much for everything you've done. That's the why. And I think a lot of brokers look at the transactions, because you and I we're in the trenches. We're doing 500 grand loans. That's too much work. Trust lending, I don't want to do that. Yeah. You got to guide them through legal advice and all this stuff. But again, water the garden, because that client then buys 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
And then tells their friends, speak to Bill.
Yeah.
Because Bill knows what he's doing around financing and buying. And it just, that's how business has grown.
And then you also get the clients that are stuck everywhere else and come to you. But that's, like you said, that's part of the challenge, which makes it fun.
There's some things you can't help. So we're not, I always say this, we've got the same, all brokers have the same tools and vehicles.
Yeah.
Mate, we've all got 65 lenders, roughly. So, it's how you understand policy. Yeah. How you understand, different, the lending landscape and entities and things like that. And, there are some clients we can't help, but, we don't push them away. Yeah. All right, but if your income was not 100 grand, but 120,000, or your partner at the moment is a stay-home mum, what if we just modelled out, if she got a 30 grand job, part-time in the next 12 months, your borrowing capacity then increases another 200,000.
Yeah.
So they're not walking away just shit. We can't do anything. We're kicking stones.
That's the worst. Yeah.
We've put a goal in place. Let's work towards this.
You can't do anything, but if you change this and this, this is how you're going to get there.
Correct. Yeah. So, mate, that's
it. That's finance.
That's easy.
That's how you do it.
That's how we do it,
you get
mate.
500 mil.
But yeah, even just quickly with the budget changes, I think we're already seeing it. It was that lull. Forget the SMSF stuff. I mean, we've had I don't know how many you got.
Yeah, it's a massive rush, but yeah.
We've got 38 on the go at the moment, but even post that now. So we're getting the savvy investor that says this is a buying opportunity. The fundamentals in economic supply and demand still don't change. If anything, I think builders and developers are going to actually be building less now because...
they can't. It's not feasible.
It's not feasible.
Hard.
It's so expensive to build. build.
I'm trying to do a subdivision at the moment. They say we need more housing supply in this country. Yep. Try and do a subdivision. Yep. It's so hard. You got 1,000 different consultants you got to go through, 1,000 different steps to do. Yep. And it takes a year and a half to do anything.
Yeah.
So, we can't just turn supply on at the drop of a hat.
No. So the fundamentals I know everyone's saying that, but like they are literally still there around supply and demand, and that gap is going to get even wider. These are the new rules. That's what I say to clients. We've just got to play by them. Do I agree with them? Absolutely not. That's another podcast for another day.
Yeah.
But these are the new rules. You can still create wealth with property and do very, very well with these new rules.
Exactly. On that note, wealth with property, I want to talk about this personal portfolio again, we keep going off track because you say something good and then I'll follow on with it. So you've got the property, which was the owner op, was the third one, and then there's about another 10 in between that. So roughly, give me an idea of where they are.
Yeah, so Little Bay we turned into an investment. So Little Bay, New South Wales, it's done well. The yield's through the roof at the moment. Rents in Sydney, absolutely bonkers. If you bought many years ago. So, and then we bought I bought a place in Brisbane.
Yep. Whereabouts?
Boondall,
Ipswich
just
way?
sort of north of Brisbane, about 14 k's out.
Yep.
I should have bought a few of them. Bought for $550. That's all I could afford at the time.
What year was that?
That was 2017, 2018.
Yeah, good time to buy. I bought an Ipswich in 2018. Yeah.
The prices up. They were all like, I got this for $550, but they were all like that $450 to $650 mark.
Just silly.
Yeah. And this is sort of before I knew structuring. I just started my broking career, so everything was personal names to begin with. And, that's worth 1.2, 1.3, rented every day since then. And then I bought a unit in WA.
Yep. Whereabouts?
Victoria Park, sorry.
Yep. In the city?
In the city, but again, boutique block. I can still add value to that. It's a bit of a dog box, but bought it for $360, worth about $590 now. So again, I think you got to look at the longer term view when holding property. The first 5 years, most people did nothing. As long as it's not an offer plan. Yeah. Again, our friends off the plan people won't like. But it's worth like $600 now, and I can renovate, and I could probably get it up to $650, $700 So look, with a longer term outlook. And then we bought. Trying to think what I bought. Then I think we bought our owner occupied home. So we actually bought a house in Chifley, southeast Sydney. Is
that where you still are?
That's where we still are. And I guess I leveraged a little bit of equity from my investment properties to then leverage into that was 1.8 million at the time, which is that's a fair bit. And then had a lull for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then bought 2 in Queen's Park in WA.
Yep.
So again, I wanted a house.
That's in the city as well.
That's about 12 k's out of the city. Yep. A lot of gentrification coming, and bought them for $740.
Cool.
That was about 2.5 years ago.
Yep. So you've been busy.
I've been busy the last sort of 4, 5, 6 years in particular, because obviously I had to grow the business.
Yeah.
And then, those things are worth, thanks to Alba on the 5% deposit scheme.
Yeah.
They're worth about 1.1. Yeah. Easy money. Thanks, mate. And then going to fuel
years,
that fire. Wasn't anything sort of within that price range. And then, mate, we have then, we've got one up in, Woy Woy, which is the wife's. That was sort of back. We've held that for 10 years.
Woy out west, or
Woy Woy up Central Coast.
Yeah.
So that's a good area near your minor. Long term hold. We can have renovations there. And then the last probably 2 years went pretty hard down in Melbourne.
Yep.
So bought a place in Nor Lane. Did a cosmetic renovation. Again, Melbourne hasn't really pumped yet, but the regional markets have done quite well.
It's done well, yeah.
It's done well. It's gone up about $180,000. We can also subdivide and build a granny flat or an actual dwelling at the back, which I'll do probably next year. Mm-hmm. Bought one in Drysdale.
Yep.
Fringe suburb, deceased estate. They wanted a 30-day settlement. I said I can achieve that. they're rare as hen's teeth to try and find those deals, but I think we bought it for about $700,000. It's a block. It's about 900 square metre block. This house is just it's big.
Yeah.
It's it's immaculate. Valuation day one about 180, 190, 200 grand up.
Wow.
And that wasn't even a CBA Bank West.
Yeah. That was a desktop or something like
desktop,
that?
Yeah. They were coming up. They had because I think after 2 years you pay capital gains tax on any sort of increase if it's a deceased estate. So they wanted a bit of a fire sale. I achieved that, and that's what you call under market value. And then they bought one in Burnside, bought one in Delahey as well in Melbourne. So I guess I'm banking big. For me, you're the property guy. Like you've got a buyer's agency. Yeah. But Melbourne, I say to my clients looking to invest in Melbourne is don't look at it. It's not a quick fix. It's a 5-year play here. Don't look at Perth and that. We're just bouncing around like 10% per year.
It's ridiculously undervalued. If you look at the long-term averages, Melbourne's cheaper than Perth, Brisbane, Adelaide.
Correct.
How does that make sense? It's never made sense. It's the economy's triple the size of all of them.
Correct. Yeah. And I missed 2. We got 2 in our SMSF.
Oh yeah, where are they?
Up in Townsville.
Oh yeah, cool.
Another good market. We decided to go for 2 cheaper properties. One's 2 on 1. So once I do eventually sell them, I'll obviously strata it. Yep. So essentially 3 dwellings. Again bought from 400 grand. They're worth about 680. Just set and forgets.
Solid yields.
I'm a broker. Hopefully the maths makes sense there, but I think that's up to the portfolio. And I guess where I am just for future plans, I just sort of went, I'm just going to sit tight a little bit just for the moment.
That was my next question. So from here, 13 properties, 16 mil val, debt's about 8 mil. Yes. Is that right? Yep. So you're at a 50% LVR. Yep. Income's pretty good. So I'm assuming if you wanted to go harder, obviously you could go and start racking up more properties. But what's the plan? You don't really need that much more than 16 mil.
No. Again, what's your why? I'm living comfortably now. I'm wearing $20 t-shirts. It's just, there's no Ferrari in I drive a Mazda. So I want to get a little bit more creative. I've got a guy in Melbourne that's builder/buyer's agent type role. Trust him with my life. He's going to start. He'll chop that Nor Lane one up. Yeah, build something on it. And we want to start sort of doing that, even if it's a JV type thing. Just get in there, make 100, 150 all out in sort of 12, 18 months. Recycle. And I guess my 5-year play, or at least 5 years, is to then eventually, I think probably what I'll do with the SMSF properties, mate, is Townsville's getting probably near the peak of the market up there. Strata, sell off. Obviously, you need to keep the funds in your super fund, but then I'll probably recycle that into a commercial property.
Yep.
Hopefully pay that off over the next sort of 15 years, just until minimum age of 60 before we can at least touch that. And then I think with my portfolio, whether it's 5 or 10 years, I'll start selling off. And then I definitely want a commercial. So I want a commercial with little to no debt at all.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 million, net yield 6.5%.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably just diversify just a little bit into ETFs. I've got a little portfolio just sort of growing in the background there.
That's good.
Not like property, mate, where you can leverage that up. But, the goal would then be to be debt-free. And I guess probably the other thing you don't really look at is I've got a business as well. That is an asset. Like I don't have a goal to sell it. I actually, as I said before, I actually want to bring my team in.
Yeah.
But that should then...
It is very saleable.
It is very saleable as well.
Easily.
It's a huge asset. And I think probably just sort of circling back, I think the big thing that's not spoken enough in our industries is, I'm not going to lie, we can structure anything. I can map out a 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 property portfolio. But what's going to drive that goal a lot quicker is having a machine behind you. And what I mean by machine is having it, whether it's a business or a high income job that's going to obviously drive things a lot. I don't think that's shared enough in our industry because you get a lot of these big wigs. I got all these property and 60 million portfolio. I see their financials for a lot of these people. So, work on ways on how you can, whether it's a side hustle or a second side hustle or educate yourself or, change careers or something that's going to drive a little bit more income because that can accelerate your plans a lot more.
Yeah, I say it to a lot of people. They come to me. You would have seen it plenty as well. I laugh. I don't laugh at the client, but I just laugh about the idea that clients will come to me and they've chatted to a buyer's agent, and the buyer's agent doesn't know anything about lending, but they might know about property and all that sort of thing. So they know they can get the client good deals, whatnot. And the client says, yeah, all we want to do is I just want to buy 10 properties in 10 years. And they're on 150 grand. And I'm like, well, love the intention, but you can use all the trusts, all the companies, everything you like. The best way to get yourself to this goal is to double, triple your income. Start a business, get that higher position at work, stuff like that. Do all the right things along the way with your structure. The income's not talked about anywhere near enough. Like you say, there's a lot of these big buyers agents that have 10, 20, 50, 100. These guys have 200 properties these days. But the incomes are genuinely 5, 10, 20 million a year. So that's how you get there a lot of the time.
Correct. Yeah. So income, like you said, it's huge. It is absolutely huge. And it's not spoken about enough. But like we can model that stuff out. Like not everyone would love to earn $1 million a year. Yeah. It's not that easy. But, what if the wife went back to work and earned 30 grand a year? There's another 250 in your borrowing capacity. That's going to allow you to get into that property now rather than 12 months time.
Yeah. You can get there. You're not going to get 10 properties in 5 years or something like that on 150s. Not going to happen. But 10 properties over 10, 15 years or something with the right structure, increasing your income along the way, you can do it.
Yeah. So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
quickly?
Go for it.
It's your podcast. You're young. You're a lot younger than me. You don't even have grey hair, unlike me.
I do. There's heaps.
That's broking.
Yeah.
So, what are you buying? Just quickly, obviously in this market, people are probably chasing sort of slightly higher yields. And I guess what's Bill's plan with your portfolio? Is it similar to mine to eventually start to sell down, or is it just hopefully you sell a couple of properties and pay off these investment properties unencumbered and you live off the rent? There's various different avenues you can take, but where's your head at, mate?
I don't know. I get asked this all the time, and the thing is, when I started, 10 years ago, if I said in 10 years you'll have 11 properties, I think it's worth about 7.2 mil. So a fair few cheaper properties in there, obviously, too. But debt's about 3.5, but then I've got about 1.5 in offsets as well that I've refied out and stuff like that. So I would have said that's enough. And even a few years ago, I didn't really want to buy any more property. And right now, I don't think I need to buy more property. But like last week, we're on the ground.
It's an addiction,
mate. It is an addiction. It is. But I also hate dealing with my own finances and doing all that. As you would know, it's just a pain when you got a decent portfolio and a few businesses.
I actually get one of my brokers in my team now to do all my finances. So
I don't.
Delegate, mate. Absolutely, but it does get more cumbersome and tricky.
But I think I've done my borrowing capacity recently, and it was different because when I was buying properties in Ipswich 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, for 240 grand, it was because I could only afford 240 grand. My income was 60, 70, 80 grand, whatever. Now I did my borrowing capacity, and on low doc, admittedly, not full doc, but low doc, mate, it's like 5-6 mil with BAS lending.
6.6%.
So, yeah.
Same interest rates.
It's fine, yeah. So I could buy, at the moment it was a different position because I got money in the bank, borrowing capacity as much as I want. I could go and buy these properties for 1.5, 2 mil, blue chip, stuff like that, but it doesn't interest me. It doesn't make sense. When I look at it and I go, all right, now I could go and buy. When I started, I thought when I, make it, I'm going to go and buy blue chip stuff in Bondi, Sydney, Coogee, whatever. Now I look at it and I'm like, all right, I could buy a basic 2-bed unit in Bondi for 1.5, 2 mil, with a 2% yield. Maybe 2.5, 3, yeah.
Yep.
And I look at the growth, on that. I'm like, all right, is this going to go from 2 to 4 over the next 5 to 7 years? And I just think that this stuff that I went and bought instead, which was the cheap Melbourne units, like I bought one for 304 in St Kilda, rents for 500 a week. I bought another one, and I got that, same as you, with your Geelong property or the Drysdale one.
Yep.
I got that relatively cheap because I did a cash unconditional offer as well.
Yep.
So that's the advantages you have if you've got your finances in order.
Yep.
But bought those, and then last week when we were on the ground buying for clients, I was just looking at these deals and I was like, the market is heating up. There's 10, 15 offers on good properties. These properties are going to grow. I've never seen days on market go through the floor, stock on market go down, 10 plus offers on properties. Vacancy rates now in a lot of these suburbs are 0.8 to 1.5%. Rents are 6 to 7 plus % on these things. So
price point?
Maybe, mate, 350 to 450 for one betters.
Crazy.
Two betters, really good two betters. You're not going to get a 7% yield on a two better. You'll get a 5.5%. But good two betters, 550, maybe 500. So I think I'll probably buy a few more. It's there.
I might have to speak with you as well, mate. But mate. I think, that because the game, the game's changed since the budget, but I think that sub sort of 800 grand market.
Everyone's pushed into it more so now.
Everyone's pushed into
there's
it.
More demand.
It's hard to hold properties that are, 10, 15, 20, 25 grand a year in the negative. So you need to be looking for those smaller price points, higher yields. We're speaking to the converted here. And that, you're already seeing it, mate. You're on the, hats off to you. You're a buyer's agent. You're on the ground and you're seeing the demand already in those type of areas.
It's not a debate anymore.
Yeah.
It's there. The growth's there. I'm seeing it every week. We're buying properties now for 30, 40 grand more than they were 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that's on a 350 purchase or a 300 purchase, which is 10% plus.
Yeah.
So it's like Perth. Perth did the same thing. Once it took off, I bought in Perth in 2021 and it was pretty dead. And then I bought there again in like Feb 22 and it was starting to turn.
Yep.
And the real estate agent there said to me, we've done 10% in the last year. I think it's at the top now. That's it. And I just thought, mate, there was 40 people through this open that I went with you today. You don't know what's coming. It's going to hit. I didn't think it would double in, 2.5 years.
I know a buyer's agent that encouraged their clients to sell about 2.5 years ago. And I'm like, I think Perth did 15 and then 12% growth.
Yeah.
It's, if you're exiting as well, you need to know the market as well. But you see it. It's the demand comes. And especially I think, what does influence markets a lot quicker these days is the buyer's agency market. Because if the data is pointing to the fundamentals of certain areas, certain asset classes, you've got big and small groups that are targeting similar areas.
And rightly or wrongly,
the
growth happens.
The growth happens. So, where can you buy a property for 300-400 grand?
No, you can't. It's let alone in the middle of the biggest city in the country. 25
years ago in Sydney. And it's got the same size population as Sydney.
That's insane.
So we need to chat.
For me, we will. But for me, it'll be probably just adding properties because that's a smart thing to do with your money rather than needing to scale and redline, all that stuff. Like you, I don't buy fancy cars, don't live in a fancy house, I don't buy fancy clothes, put me money where it's going to make a good investment. So
do you rent?
No, I live in a granny flat on Dad's property still. So I did that up about 9 years ago. It was a complete shell, rubbish. And I said to him, or he said to me, I was going to buy a house to live in. And he said, why don't you buy an investment? Because he didn't want me to buy an owner-occ because he thought I'd live in it with a girlfriend, break up, she'd get half, which would have happened because I don't have the same girlfriend then.
Parents normally know best, don't
they? So he said, buy an investment. If you do this thing here on the property up, you can live in it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, it was pretty bad. Did it up, just a basic old fibro shack basically, but still live
Sacrificed.
Yeah.
I lived at home. My parents' first 2 or 3 properties, like your income, your portfolio, you don't have to be living in a granny flat, respectfully.
No, yeah.
And your priorities will change as well. Obviously,
I'm doing a subdivision doing a subdivision to hopefully build in the next year and a half, and then that'll be a 1.5 plus mil build or whatever, plus land. So that'll be a decent owner-occ worth, I don't know, 3-4 mil, something like that. But I'm not in a rush. 29.
Hats off, honestly, hats off. What you're doing for your age, it's, do you ever look back? People say, as in business, I don't really look back. It's, you need to smell the rose. Doesn't matter what your age is, but around, whether it's your business success or your investment property portfolio success as well. It's, you're always not chasing the next hit, but chasing the next property or deal or goal in your business. But you're only 29.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know.
You got a few more years before you look back. But
I don't know what I'd look back on at this stage.
Are you proud of yourself?
What would
I mean, you should be.
I don't know. I'm happy where things are at,
Yep.
but I'm also at a point where, I was making a social post, haven't posted it yet, but I was making a post about the revenue that I did last year and the profit and all that, because I'm pretty open with everything that I share. But the year before, so last year was good profit, but the year before I was negative because I was scaling the team. I hired like 10 people. So for me now, it's just like a relief that I'm past that. And now I'm like, all right, now I'm kind of stable. What's next? So not really looking back.
Got to sacrifice. Any broker out there, I mean, to scale your business, it looks like roses. You get to a certain level, you're at 50 million, and then you start hiring staff.
Yeah.
So your profit levels, profit is the number one thing. All these
revenue is bullshit.
This revenue, I made this revenue, and the revenue is crap.
Yeah.
What is your profit? What is your taxable income? That is what is going to get you financed.
Yeah.
That's what's going to pay the bills. That's what's going to obviously, allow you to grow your portfolio as well. But I guess for the brokers listening out there, just quickly, before we wind up, is, it's going to take 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because you need to hire staff, which then obviously eats away at your profit. So you'll go, well, hang on, I'm writing 150 mil now.
First 2 years it'll be profitable.
My profit's the same as when I was writing 40 mil. So, but you will get the nirvana moment where obviously, you've got your team, you're using tech, you're using AI and stuff, you're scaling a business and the profit starts to ramp up over time.
And you can see the trail book building, and you can look at your business multiple off the back of that if you were to sell. Not that I'm interested in selling, but that also is what you want to look at as you're expanding and, not profitable. You look at the business multiple growing and you go, okay, I'm getting it somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, mate, thank you. Really good to have you here. And I think I might need to get you back again sometime.
We could chat for days, I know.
Good.
So, I appreciate your time, mate. And mate, honestly, well done on your success. I look at people at 29. I wasn't doing what you were doing at 29, mate. So,
thanks, mate. Appreciate
hats off to you and hats off for the podcast and your success. And thank you for being an open book as well. I see the engagement you get as well, just sharing your knowledge. You don't ask, anything for it. And, mate, we'll do it again soon.
Thanks, mate. Sounds good.
Thank you.